Okay, please start recording kasi we can so that we can share this later on, and we can refer to this session later on. Okay, we have more who have shared their annotation. All right. So regardless of what your state in today, whether you want to coach, you want to be coach, you're not sure, this session will give you a little bit of an introduction, maybe to help you decide on which area will coaching be for you. Will you be the one to coach, or will you be the one to be coached, or can you do both? All right. And then more than anything else, those who are not sure, we can help them to move to either one or two. Okay. That being said, okay. Aha. Let me start off this session with this quotation. Oops. Nagluloko yung aking... Okay. All right. Let me start off with this quotation. When it comes to coaching, a good coach will make his players see what they can be rather than what they are. Most of the references that we have on coaching can be readily accessed and can be easily referenced by usually to sports coaching. The irony of coaching is that sports coaching is a truly different discipline than the coaching that we all know. Okay, because in sports coaching, the difference, there is a huge difference in terms of what they do as sports coaches and what coaches, in the sense that we are using it here, uh, how they are different from the sports coaches. So maybe let me start off by what is coaching really. When you talk about coaching, the definition that I will be presenting to you is lifted from and is being used internationally by the International Coach Federation, or ICF. No. When we define coaching, coaching is about partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Let me spend a bit of time here. Coaching is about partnering. There is a coach, and then there is a coachee, and there is a partnership. And in that partnership, the coach basically is in a position to provoke the coachee for creative processes that the coachee undertakes so that they can become better, that they move forward, that they get inspired, and they get to maximize whatever potential they have, whether it's in business or on a personal scheme. No? Coaching is very client driven, and this is where one of the major differences are when it comes to coaching. It is very client driven, meaning uh, the coachee, in this case, which is your client, basically is the one that drives the entire relationship. However, although it is client driven, since this is a partnership, you as the coach helps the client or the coachee to navigate. Okay? The analogy here is that you hold the client hand in hand and help him navigate whatever he is going through in his life or in his business. That's why coaching focuses on setting goals, creating outcomes or results, and managing personal change. So what this does is that this partnership helps the client or the coachee basically to move forward. Okay? And that is where the coach, the role of the coach is to get that client moving. Okay? There is no way but to move forward. That is how it is. And the way to do that is that the coach does not push but holds the client hand in hand so that they move forward together. Okay? Now, coaching is it really just a specific tool? Maybe what we can do is to define coaching by what it is not. Coaching is not therapy. Okay? This is not counseling. Although you can use the tools of counseling, it is not purely counseling or therapy. You are not there to become the psychiatrist or psychologist of your client or your coachee. Okay? Even if you are licensed psychiatrist, that is not your role. All the more if you are not licensed as a therapist. Coaching is not therapy. You're not there to fix your client. No, it's not that. It is not consulting. Consulting is a relationship where the consultant is paid to provide answers. In a coaching relationship, you are not there to provide answers. You are there to help your client get his answers for himself. You may give hints, you may use techniques to help him do that, but you are not a consultant. All right? Because the consultant, in a manner of speaking, is an expert in a certain field that maybe the client is not. Okay? But here, when it comes to coaching, um, some coaches may not necessarily be an expert in that field because the discipline of coaching is different. Now, is it mentoring? Not all the more it is not. But can you mentor? Yes. Can you consult? Yes. Can you? No, but you are not the mentor. You are not there to teach. That is what a mentor is. You're not there to teach. You are not his teacher. You are there as his partner. That is a difference. You're not there to train, and it's not about athletic development at all. This is where we are saying also that when it comes to coaching, coaching splits, no, from sports coaching. We try not to use sports coaching as the model because in the coaching relationship, the sports coaching model doesn't really work in a coaching environment. All right. So when we talk about that it is not therapy, it is not consulting, is it not, it's not mentoring, it's not training, it's not even about athletic development, then what is it really? Maybe we can start off also with the need for coaching. Why do people need coaches? Why coach? Why be a coach? Why need to be coached? The need for coaching. Everyone benefits from learning coaching skills. Everyone, because they can be used in any situation, personal, business, or corporate. It's about working smarter, not harder, in an ever-changing world. That's from Jennifer Corbin from the management coaches organization in the US. But what does it mean? Okay. For businesses, and I think this is where a lot of you are coming from because right now there's a lot of interest coming from businesses for coaching. No, what will coaching do? Here are some examples. What are the tangible benefits of coaching? There is, when you look at the tangible benefits, productivity increases, quality increases, okay, organizational strength increases. All the bars that you see right there is an increase from their previous levels when coaching was introduced. And this is the impact produced in a business, tangible benefits as reported by their executives. Okay, customer service, reduce complaints, etc., etc. What about the intangible benefits? Here are some intangible benefits that you can see. improved relationships, all right, reports a 77% increase with their direct reports. So can you imagine if the business, if in any business, the manager and the subordinate, the relationship becomes better and an increase of 77%, okay? Improve relationships with the stakeholder, improve teamwork. So there's all these improvements in the relationship. If we even just focus on relationships as a factor in being a better person, being a better worker, what can that do for you? Can you imagine that? If you have an improved relationship in a business, now, since it's in a business, what about on the personal relations? Can you do this? Can it also improve your relationships in personal situations? Of course it would. Okay? Just like in any business or just like in any relationship, coaching can help in terms of the human interaction. Therefore, since it's all about the human interaction, it is not really about the situation or not really about the environment, because the interaction, if it's being done in a business environment, these are the results. If it's being done in a personal environment, then the benefits are practically the same. Okay, there is an improvement in these relationships. Okay, some of you might be in consulting and in training. What can coaching do? Here is what we get from our from the research that we've been doing. When you do training, but there is no coaching, there is only limited results. Without follow-on coaching, training increases productivity only by about 22%. Because training, it may improve behavior and may improve results, but 22%. However, when you now introduce coaching to augment or to support training, coaching delivers increasing sustainable results. What has been seen is that training increases productivity by as much as 88% over time. Okay? So these are these are data, these are part of the research that we have been seeing when you introduce coaching in the business environment. But what about coaching for individuals? If you're doing personal coaching, what will it do for you? Anong benefit? What's the benefit for you? Here, you can take a look. When it comes to coaching, one benefit that you can get is it increases all of these things here is all about increase or improvement. You improve self-esteem, you improve self-confidence, you increase resilience, you increase hope, you improve your self-regulation, meaning you can exert more control over yourself. You increase your well-being. There's more mental health. Even your cognitive powers becomes better. More often than not, you can become better at dealing with change. This is could be a result of being coached or coaching. Okay, so coaching can benefit both the company, the business, or it can benefit the individual. So if you want to coach or if you want to be coached, not necessarily in a business, it can be done. All right, because these are your benefits. Now, what do coaches do? So some of you might be thinking, oh wow, it's a very flowery, it's a very rosy picture that is being painted of what coaching is. So what do coaches do? There's not much mystery in what coaches do. Okay? Coaches basically do this, all of this, or in combination of this in any coaching relationship. Coaches listen. They listen to the client, listening to find out, listening to know, listening to where the client is coming from. And we also ask questions. We ask a lot of questions. The reason for this is we want to gain clarity. But more than clarity for the coach, it's clarity for the client. Because most of the time, as we all know, a lot of people, sometimes they're confused and they don't really need someone to fix them. Sometimes all they need is someone who can be a sounding board, someone who can listen, and someone who can share or ask the right questions at the right time. So it's going to be clearer for the client, not necessarily for the coach. Okay? So coaches, what do we do also? We challenge. We challenge the client. We challenge him to move forward. We challenge him to that he can do better. We challenge him that to try out new things. And sometimes we even challenge the client to exert breakthroughs, experience breakthroughs, things that he has never done before. We help the client transform. We help the client change. And at the end of it all, we help the client reflect. Okay? In this relationship, the coach does all these things so that the coachee or the client can move forward. Now, one way of putting it is that the role of the client or the role of the coach is to discover, clarify, and align with what the client wants to achieve. This is where we say that it is client driven. It's not about what the coach wants, that rather what the coachee or the client wants for himself. And the coach is there to help him discover, to help him clarify of what it is that he wants to achieve. That's why the coach is there to encourage self-discovery. We want the client to discover himself. We want the client to generate solutions and strategies. Can we provide them? Sure. But the natural tendency of people is that when a solution or a strategy is presented and it did not come from them, what happens? Sige nga, what happens? What do we know of human nature? Di ba? When you give or when you provide, when you begin to prescribe a solution or a strategy and it does not work, what happens? The client blames you, right? That's a common experience. Why? Because it was not generated from him. He did not think of it. You did as the coach. That's why it defeats the purpose of coaching if you begin providing answers. In this way, you are no longer in the coach's role. You are now being a consultant or a teacher or a mentor. And it is not working, or it is not the role that you are in. You are there to coach. And at the end of it all, you are there so that you can hold your client or your coachee responsible and accountable. You cannot be responsible and accountable for him. He has to be responsible for himself. All right? And this is our role as coaches. This is what we do. Now, how do we do that? There are a lot of tools that you can do with it. But the thing is, it revolves around those five things that you do. You listen, you ask questions, you challenge, you transform, you reflect. All right? Now, right now, all over the world, there are so many coaches, so many who call themselves coach. I have even encountered someone in another setting who called himself my weight coach. And all she was doing was basically trying to sell me weight loss products, no, in a networking situation. May mga ganyan na nagsasabi, coach ako, yun ang title ko, coach. And that is one dilemma of the entire industry of coaching. Everybody wants to be called coach. Okay? But is it really coaching that they deliver? Some are really dubious. Okay. Now, there are different types of coaching that are available, numerous disciplines and niches, and there's a lot of overlap. Okay, there are a lot of overlapping disciplines in coaching. The main specialties right now covers leadership, covers businesses or organizations, executive coaching, and life coaching. Those are the top four that we know that coaches are being hired to do. We coach leaders, we coach businesses, we coach executives, and then we coach individuals uh, how to live their lives or become better in their personal environments. That's why there's a lot of demand in life coaching right now. And our experience is that there is an overlap between personal and business coaching right now. And if you look at what is available in the market, here are samples. There are almost 100 areas of specialty. You want to be a corporate coach? You can be a corporate coach, executive coach, OD coach, management coach, no, board of directors, HR, marketing and sales. Okay? PR, marketing, brand management, ang dami. But these are just two. There's a there's a specialization coming in on coaching for small businesses. They're coaching new businesses, they're coaching entrepreneurs, they're coaching business turnaround. And then there's relationship coaches, marriage coaches, family coaches, romance coaches. Okay? There are parent coaches, etc., etc., etc. There are so many life stage lifestyle coaches. There are quality of life coaches. There's a recreation coach. There's a lifestyle coach. There's even a workaholics coach. There's even a stress reduction coach. Ang dami-dami. There are so many that you can choose from. And that is available in the market right now. No? Success coach, special markets, etc. There is an even, if you look at there is even a single mom parents coach. There are financial coaches, di ba? Yung mga financial advisors. Maraming coaches. There is even a coach for therapists or counselors. Okay? If you want to go and become a coach and you want to see that since there are so many areas of specialty in coaching, so coaching can actually be seen as a profession. And let me tell you right now, life coaching is the second fastest growing profession in the world, according to Forbes magazine. It is that it's growing. One of the things that you can see when it comes to coaching is that there is very little in terms of entry into the coaching world. There is a low barrier for entry. Okay. There's such a low barrier that almost anyone can become a coach, except that there is a very high standard that uh, people require of coaches. So there's maybe a low barrier to entry, but there's a high expectation to become a very successful coach. Otherwise, you will just be a so-so coach, right? Or not even be a coach, be called a dubious coach. So, that being said, when it comes to the decision to partner with a coach, you can coach. Why not? You can become a coach, yes, or you can be coached as well. In whatever decision you make to partner with a coach, you can see about how can your coach help you. Here are some examples of how a coach can help. So you can put yourself in the persona of the coach or the client, and in whatever manner you're seeing it, you can see there. You can get clear on your goals. You can gain tools to turn challenges around, enhance opportunities, increase confidence, eliminate fear and self-doubt. This is what your coach can help you with. They will not do it for you, but the coach can help you deal with it. Okay? Typical reasons in a business setting is to optimize individual or team or work performance. We can expand career opportunities. We can increase self-esteem, improve business management, and even manage work-life balance. Especially now, where we are in, most of us are in work from home, where our workplace is already our home place. So where do you draw the line between work, and life. Okay? This is where a coach can help you. Here are some typical reasons why you should engage a coach. You want to achieve your goals, be successful. You want to make better use of your time. You're going through a big transition. Maybe you want to understand yourself better and identify blind spots. You want to reach your full potential. You want to make more money. Who doesn't want to make more money? Or take the next step in your career, or simply just want to be or to improve your overall well-being. There are a lot of reasons that you can choose to work with a coach. That is something that you will have to decide if you want to partner with a coach. Okay? What you would expect, there will be some documentation for this. There has to be a written agreement, a written coaching agreement that specifies, since this is going to be a partnership, it's like going into a contract with a coach. You're going to partner. So there has to be a specification as to how and what behaviors are you going to expect. There are assessments, there's pre-work, there are multi-channel engagements. And when I say multi-channel, it used to be that there are face-to-face. Right now, the primary way of doing it is like this over the internet. No, but prior to the lockdown, there's a lot of face-to-face work. You see each other, you meet in places where the two of you can talk, because the challenge here in an online setting is that there are certain nuances or visual cues or even nonverbal cues that the coach can use, but that in this setting it cannot be seen, nor heard, nor felt. Okay, part of the tools, and basically accountability for your goals and your actions. Okay, so when it comes to coaching, these are the things that you can expect when you are going to coach or be coached. So what's next for you? What's next? What is the next step that you can take? Um, you can go for training. You can go to a coach's training and become one, become a coach. Can we train you? Sure, we can. Can we do it over the internet? Sure, we can. We can train you for coaching. If that is not your thing, you don't want to coach, you don't want to go into a partnership, you just want to be coached, that can also be done. You can let Judith know if you want to have a personal coach. We can do that. If you have a preference for a person for another coach, we have a stable of other coaches that you can work with. Okay, that's could probably be what's next for you. Or maybe at this point you're still not sure as to why. What could be next for you? Well, then we can also help you discover what it is. Coaching can be for you as a person, as an individual, or coaching can be used in your business. That we can guarantee. One thing in my own personal experience, as I mentioned, sometime in 94, we worked with a company. On the first year of our work with them, since they were very skeptical, uh, what they said was, okay, we want you to help us with revenue generation. And it is an old company, meaning they've been there for more than 20 years. So they're practically in the mature stage of the business already. So when we help them, we help transform the organization and adopted coaching skills and coaching techniques. And when we implemented coaching with them, what they what surprised them at the end of the year was that we helped generate a 400% increase in their revenues. Okay, 400%. And they were already in the millions at that time. So it's a 400% increase in revenues. They were still skeptical. So on the second year, they said, okay, we don't want to go into revenues because that's just simply sales. So what we want to do now is to have an increase in our net income in the business. And their organization, the net income on the average annually, they were averaging 2 to 3% net income. Okay. So we said, yeah, challenge accepted. So we did the coaching with them. At the end of the year, the increase from 2 to 3% from previous year, they ended up with a 16% increase in net income. Okay? Now, but that's at the level of the business. What happened with the people that underwent coaching and we trained to coach? What happened with them? When we started the program, we worked with their top management and we worked with their management down to their supervisors. What happened with them was that a lot on the first year we saw about 8 people being promoted from supervisor to become managers, and about 4 people from the management level were promoted to senior management positions. On the second year, we saw about 12 of them, 12 of their supervisors being promoted to managers, and in the management level, we had about 7 who became who were promoted to senior managers, and the ones that were promoted the year before, out of the 4, one was promoted to an SVP level. So we also help them in their skills. All right. So this is what we have done so far, and this is where I see that coaching can be helpful in business or even with the individual. So given what we have discussed, where to now? Maybe you can decide on your own. Maybe later in the chat box, you can tell me or you can tell Judith, what area do you really want to, where do you want to go from here? Do you want to coach? Do you want to be coach? And if you are not sure, it's okay. Just type it in the chat box so that we can help you as well. We can help clarify with you what is it that you want and how can we help you get there. All right. So now we have time for questions. So I can stop my screen sharing and let's have a Q&A. No? So if you have questions, you can, again, you can unmute and speak up. I think that dito yung Judith can help me in trafficking questions. If not, you can also use the chat box for questions. Do you have questions?
Hello, is everybody there?
Hello there. Do you have any questions right now?
Oh, there's Mr. Archie, I think. I have a question po.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Archie. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Sir Archie, you want to unmute and you can ask the question directly.
Sige, Sir Archie. Archie Derlon, you have a question. Go ahead. Unmute yourself and ask directly.
Okay. What's the importance of coaching in time of this pandemic? Archie is asking.
What's the importance of coaching in the workplace nowadays in time of this pandemic? Okay. One of the key issues that we are all facing right now is that since we have a dispersed workforce, no, a lot of our people are working from home. There are some that are working on site or working in the office, but most of our workforce is at home. And here, you will now have to deal with a lot of issues regarding the work from home arrangement. We were not ready for this. We were not. Although the Department of Labor issued a telecommuting policy or sometime in 2018, most of the businesses here in the Philippines was not ready for this, except for BPOs, of course. But most of the businesses were not ready for this. We were forced into it with the lockdown. And because of that, we are now experiencing a lot of in the area of workforce management. We are now experiencing a lot of stress. We are dealing with a lot of issues. We are dealing with a lot of concern. Stress comes in the form of when you are working from home. Um, there is a certain level of distrust. Why? Because your manager does not see you, and the management basically thinks and is not aware if you are working. Are you really working or not? So that already breeds a certain level of distrust. And how do you know? On the other hand, the worker who is working from home is put on pressure because he is always, quote unquote, he is always on. Okay, and because he is a good worker, he wants to prove that he is working. So what happens? Even his normal work habits are disrupted. Sometimes he engages early. Maybe in a regular office setting, you are 8 to 5, but in a work from home, 7 o'clock, he already clocks in. And then sometimes he clocks in at 7 in the evening. Why? Quote unquote, just to show that he is working, right? But the reality also is that the worker also has to deal with a lot of distraction at home. Okay, there is family, there are kids, there may be some pets, no, or even neighbors that you have to deal with, and there are also some areas in the house that you need to, or chores that you need to do. Okay, and this will eat up into your time while you're working from home, and all the more it brings in the pressure that you need to show that you are working. Kaya sometimes the experience of a lot of work from home or remote workers right now is that um, they tend to be anywhere from 7 until 10 in the evening, or sometimes even as late as 12. No, they're becoming workaholics, and it's producing a lot of stress for the worker. And at the same time, it also is becoming stressful for your manager or for the management because of this arrangement. So one way of dealing with that is when you begin to use coaching skills and coaching approaches in terms of managing, that you can deal with this. Okay? That is how coaching can help you during this pandemic. Now, is it going to be useful only during the pandemic? Not really, because the pandemic is just a phase where we are in today. It may end when? Maybe next year. Can you use coaching next year? Yes, by all means, you can still use it because the skills stay with you. All right. Does that answer your question, Archie? I think that's we have one from Luning Ning. So in other words, coaching is to give some inputs, ideas for you to manage or think of strategies to do what to do, what's best, or to meet your goals. That is one way of putting it. But the difference here, Luning Ning, is that for ideas and inputs, you can do it yourself. Why do you need a coach? Diba? This is where the partnership, the relationship or a coaching relationship is very important. Because some people might say, well, I can generate my own ideas. I can generate my own strategies. I can also do what's best so that I can meet my goals. True. That is very true. People can do that. But that is also the fallacy or the myth of what we call the myth of the self-made man or the self-made person. The self-made person myth is that it is premised on the idea that you work in a vacuum. That is not true. You will relate with people. You will relate with other people in your life, whether it's your family or with other people outside of your family. The key here is that who would you rather associate with? People that can help you become better, people that can help you achieve your goals faster and easier, or not, because that is what a coach can do and that's what a coach can provide you with, okay, to become better in that. All right, so that's for Luning Ning. Okay, skill remains. It's only the platform that changes. Principles and concepts of coaching would be the same. Yes, that's true. That's why we're saying when you have the skills, can you use it for business? Yes. Can you use it for personal? Yes, it is. It does. There are some changes as far as paradigms is concerned, but the skills remain. Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions or concerns? Take a look at the chat box. Okay. All right. Um, I am not sure whether I expressed it very clearly. That's why there are no questions. Or it may be that you have more questions that maybe at this
Sir
point.
John, Sir Ronel.
Si
I think,
Ronel.
yeah.
Ronel. Okay, go ahead. Excuse me. Roniel. But you are on mute, Sir Roniel. Can you unmute?
Napindot lang daw po.
Okay, pindot lang daw po. All right. Um, if there are, I think what is going to be a next step from here is that most probably some of you, because it's really just an hour, practically we're just discussing, we've discussed it for 40 minutes or something, no, or so. Some of you might just be digesting the ideas. Some of you might still be reflecting on what has been presented. Some of you might still be looking at the data that we have researched here in terms the the presentation. No, so what I can suggest is that if you have further questions, one is you can send it to Judith. You can send it to her. You post it in the society webpage, okay? Or you can send it directly to Judith so that this can be addressed to me, okay? Okay, we have one question before we on your own experience. How long is the typical coaching period or engagement to a client? Somehow to have an assessment of effectivity. Okay, how long is the typical engagement period? Um, it the average I would say is anywhere from 30 to 90 days. That is an average engagement, and it is not a daily thing. The longer it takes, like the 90 days, usually is a weekly engagement. No, so how many engagements that you will have? Anywhere from four, minimum of four, to maybe as far as 12 engagements. Okay, and every engagement could be anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours that you can have. The engagement is usually is done on a personal time basis. So what I did in my experience was that in the the example that I gave with this business, what we had was we had weekly meetings with the entire team of managers, but we had every other day individual meetings. Okay, I had individual meetings with their managers. And when what we did with individual, it was really face-to-face meetings, not like this. All right. So can we do online meetings? Yes, but you will now really have to find to uh, spend the time to meet and engage, because the engagement will take you anywhere from four to maybe as far as 12 engagements like this before you can see substantial change or improvements, so that you can say whether it's effective or not. Okay, some of the experience will be there Some people will engage you as coach. They're just there to test you. Some some clients will be there and they will be hanging onto your word, and they are waiting for you to tell them what to do. But that is not your role as coach. So sometimes it takes a while before the client gets it. That is not your role to tell them what to do. Okay? Especially not in the first, second, or even the third engagement. All right? So, um, to me, that is the experience. On the average, anywhere from 4 to 12 engagements where you have to deal with the coachee. No? And sometimes it really depends also on what the client is working on, what the client wants to achieve, or what the client focuses on before you can say it is effective. But from my own experience, the best way to find out if it's effective is based on results. Yun yung maganda rito, because you can see from the results whether it is really effective or not. The results will tell you. And the results, although harsh, will always be fair because it's a result. You cannot argue with it. Eh. Di ba? You cannot even sugarcoat it. The result is a result that you will create. All right? There is a question here. Does it require a license to coach? This is where I said earlier that the uh, there is such a low barrier for entry. You don't need a license to coach. In fact, some of you might already be doing the coaching on your own, but you're not aware. Okay? So there is such a low barrier to coach. It doesn't require a license. But it may come to that point soon because of the proliferation of people who claim they are coaches. At some point, I can foresee in the future that this will have to be regulated, that coaches need to be trained. And for me, that is the intent. People, coaches need to be trained to do the coaching, to use the coaching skills and do the coaching relationship properly. Otherwise, pag magaling sa marketing and they say themselves as coach, people might just believe that they're coaches, but they're not actually using coaching. And I've seen that a lot. Some people are calling themselves coach, but they're actually doing consulting or they're doing counseling, which is not coaching at all. Okay? We have Jocelyn Ballesteros. Does a coach differ from that of a consultant? Okay. Um, a consultant is paid basically for you to provide answers, right? Kaya ka consultant kasi people see you as an expert and you can give them answers that they don't have. The coach does not do that. A coach will help the client generate his own answers. The coach will work hand in hand with the client so that the client will find his answers on his own. That is the difference. Can a coach provide the answers also? He can do that, but it will defeat the purpose of coaching, the relationship. When he begins to do that, he is no longer a coach. He is now a consultant. Di ba? Yan yung nagiging difference ng dalawa. At yan yung nagiging problema ng coaching relationship. If you are in a coaching relationship, but your coachee sees you as a consultant, then you are not fulfilling the relationship. Then might as well call it as a consulting relationship rather than a coaching relationship. Sir John, is it always so that I guess I hope that clarifies that, no? Sir John, is it always natural that when an employee was called for coaching, it's always a negative connotation for an employee because he's shooting? Okay. It's a very true, I will agree with this, no? Very true, very, how do we say this? This is experiential in nature. Coaching also has taken a bad rap in the past, because some people will say they are going up for coaching. Pero yun pala, principal's office ka. Yung gano'n, di ba? Tapatawag ka for coaching, yung pala principal's office ang dating. Uh, Most of the time, a lot of people use the term coach, but that's not what they're doing eh. This is where the difference comes in. No? If you're not a trained coach, then definitely you might think you're coaching, but you're not actually doing coaching itself. You may be doing something else. Like in a lot of situations, kagaya niya, binabanggit ni Archie, kaya may negative connotation siya, iko-coach ka kasi pagagalitan ka or iki-criticize ka, which is not what coaching is all about. Okay? Remember, coaching is about drawing out the potential of the person for him to become better. I think a lot of people just say for him to become better. That's why they say, oh, sige, pwede pagalitan natin, criticize natin. Total, constructive criticism naman yan. There's no such thing. All right? So this is where it is, ano. But there are elements in that situation where it can be used for coaching. Like what? The opportunity to improve can be coached. The discussion of the problem, but more than that discussion is the discussion of the solution can be a coaching situation. Okay? Unfortunately, yun nga, coaching has taken a bad rap for that because it's been used by a lot of people na coaching daw ang tawag. Pero yun pala, pagagalitan ka lang. Principal's office ka. And it's not coaching at all, unfortunately. So that can be improved as well. Okay? Does that answer your question, Archie? As an HR practitioner, this opportunity will be of great help in my career and my job. Oh, yes, definitely. And most of the time, and here I'm speaking from experience, the best coach in the organization will be naturally, or rather the expectation that the best coach is found in HR. Why? Because we do a lot of combinations of the skills. We do consulting, we do counseling, no? We do all that together with coaching. That's why the expectation of the organization, ang best coach dapat manggaling sa HR. So if you're not doing coaching, then maybe this is the time for you to begin training in doing that so that you can also model it across the organization. All right? Sir, you said that coaching is not like teaching your client what to do in his or her, but to bring out best from yourself. So you manage your own tasks in thinking strategies and saying be responsible for whatever decisions you made to meet your results or to meet the end results. Yes. Yes. You are not there to teach. You are not his teacher. That role is reserved for either mentors or teachers or consultants. Now, if you want to do that, then don't call yourself a coach, right? Call yourself for what it is. You're a consultant or a mentor or a teacher because that's what your role is. But when you're there to coach, uh, coaching will entail you to help your client discover what those things are that he needs to do and his strategies so that he can move forward. Why is this very important? Ownership of the situation starts with the client. Like I said earlier, kapag ikaw ang nagbibigay ng strategy o ikaw ang nagbibigay ng solution to your client or to your coachee, it's only as good when it is working. But when it is not working anymore, okay, the client now begins to blame you. Why? Because there is no ownership. Kasi it did not come from him. It came from you. That's why the coaching relationship is very different. Because we want him, the client, to be accountable. We want him the client to be responsible for himself. We help him do that. All right. The skills, when you learn it, the skills and the techniques will help you do that with the client. So at the end of the day, when the client wins or when the client succeeds, he knows it is because it came from him, that you were there to assist, not the other way around. That he succeeded not because of the coach, but because of his own responsibility and accountability. You were there to help him. Diba? That's how it is in the coaching relationship. Okay? So that's from Luning Ning, Canonical. Okay. So we have uh, overtime already, but that's okay, no? So I think what's going to be important now is that if you are still in the process of digesting and internalizing what we have discussed, and later on you have questions, go, please by all means direct your questions, direct your concerns, direct your issues to Miss Judith, and then she can forward it to me, and then from there we can address all of these issues. But I think for very concrete steps, one of the things that I'd like you to think about right now, and maybe for the next few days, is when it comes to coaching, what do you want to do? Do you want to coach? Do you want to be coached? Either or. Okay. And if that is the case, if you want to coach, where do you want to coach? Do you want to coach in a personal setting or in the business setting? Same thing. If you want to be coached, do you want to be coached personally or do you want to be coached because there is a business that you are in? Things like this. And then let us know so that we can either we can train you, or if you don't want our training, we can refer you to people who can do that for you. All right?
Okay. Sir John, there's a private question here.
Mm.
Actually, he was asking, how does a coach prepare himself before a coaching session?
This is where it now becomes a more what we say a personal style of your coach, no? Because the coaches will have their own personality in their own coaching environment, just like what you see in uh, in in it's like what you see on TV or what you see in sports circles. You can be a coach who is very tough as nails, di ba? Or you can be a coach that's very nurturing, very caring, and all that. And at the end of the day, it's not what the style is. It's does this get the result for your client? If it gets the result for your client, then good, because it's working. Now, if it's not working, then you will have to change. So the preparation for the coach in terms of meeting the coaches will now have to be um, what does he do or what does he prefer to do as his or her own personal style. Me, when I meet my coach, every time I meet my coach, before I meet my coachee rather, before I do that, I always refer to what have we discussed, what is his issues, where is he going. I look at the overarching or the overall picture of what does this client want to do. All right, and then from there, I get myself situated in what is his state of being at the moment, and then from there, that's when I go in and do my coaching. So that's how I prepare. Now, for others, might be different. Okay, so I think what in summary for that is that uh, what you can be sure of is that your coach prepares before he meets you. He has his own way of preparation before he meets you or before he coaches. Okay, he has to always be prepared. That's how it is. Okay,
Okay, any
so
more question? Okay.
Okay.
Medyo tahimik sila. Medyo ninanamnam nila, sir, kung ano ang coach. Actually, there's a lot of confusion talaga when it comes to coaching. There's others say, I've been coached like this, pero kapag titignan mo, it's a parang nagko-consultation lang naman siya. It's not really a coach. Now, actually, guys, coaching, it's a lot of things of learning. Hindi natin makukuha ito for just an hour. We have more session, but this session talaga, if we really wanted to be a coach, we will be offering a 1 month. Tama ba, sir? 1 month training.
Yeah.
So, ibig sabihin, ang haba naman no. It's not mean everyday nasa ano tayo, nasa webinar. It's just a 2 days, 2 or 3 days webinar, and the rest, siguro we make it 4 ngayon, sir, kasi we cannot make it na 1 whole day So, we cut it into 4 hours. If you really wanted, you can enroll this. Ilalabas din namin sooner or later. Then, so that you can coach properly para sa mga tao niyo. Especially for us, the HR managers, we really need to know how to coach properly. Kasi we're thinking na, I'm doing coaching, tama na to. Pero it's another way around. Iba pala. It's not the proper way. So, this is just the start. And if case, kayo naman sa sarili ninyo, I wanted to improve myself. I want to know more of ourselves. You can give us a message. We can help you out through coaching. We will not dictate what you will do, but we will try to coach and help you out to improve your performances. So that's the two-way around when it comes into coaching. You can be a coach, you can be a coachee. We are all here. Actually, si Miss May kakaalis lang. All of our consultants are very, very good coaches. Even though they were not called Coach Jan, Coach Bell, Coach May, Coach Tata, but I guarantee when you enrolled, or what they call this, you get asked for a coaching session, definitely makakakuha kayo ng magandang production, what they call this, magiging productive ang session ninyo.
Yeah.
And, okay, can I request everyone before we end this session to open your camera para magkaroon tayo ng class picture, because it will be the first time sa Philippine Society of HR Admin na magkaroon ng class picture. Kasi in our previous platform, lahat naka-chat lang. Okay, please do open. I want to see your beautiful faces. Ang gaganda pala ng mga to, hindi nagsibukasan ng mga camera Ang gagwapo. Okay? So, ready na rin ba inyong mga camera? Okay, what else? More? Okay, Sir Edwin, Sir Archie, Ma'am Joy, Sir Herwin, Ma'am Girly. Okay, sorry, don't have come in my... Okay, it's not a problem. Okay, so ready na rin ba mga camera ninyo?
Okay.
Sige, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, again. 1 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much. And I'm happy to see you after 2 months na we're doing this webinar. I have the chance to see your faces. Hindi lang sa chat room. And hopefully, sooner or later, I can hear your voice. Marinig ko rin kayo to get... if any one of you who wants to join us, kung meron kayong idea, gusto nyo magpa-webinar, gusto nyo i-share yung knowledge ninyo, please do so. This ang platform namin, it's not only for us. It's open to everyone who wants to share your knowledge. Gusto nyo mag-present, gumawa na ano, you're welcome. Just give me a message and we'll happy to have you here. Diba? Okay? Anything? Last words, sir? We end this session?
Well, yeah, thank you very much for spending the time this afternoon. I hope to see you again soon. in the future. And good luck to everyone. Good luck to us. Sana matapos na tong pandemic na ito.
Sana nga.
Sige, ingat po kayo. Keep safe.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Just wait for your certificate and handouts. You give me 2 to 3 days para ma-email sa inyo. Okay?
Thank you, Miss
Okay,
Dear.
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye. Bye.
Happy weekend.
Yes, bye-bye.
Sila tata rin nawala.